Today I'm going to share with you the 3 key secrets to losing weight for women over 40. And the reason why I call them secrets is because if you apply these 3 things consistently, not only will you reach your weight loss goals, but people will be asking you, how did you do it? What is your secret? Don't forget to stick around to the end of this video where I will be answering a question from one of our Get Fit community members. Now, if you're new here, I'm Ursula. I had VSG weight loss surgery back in 2014. I lost 100 pounds. I got pregnant, life happened. I regained most of that weight over the years. In May 2023, I started the 75 Hard Challenge at 218 pounds. I really cleaned up my eating, started counting macros, I eliminated processed sugar, and I went on to start running and strength training. I looked up and I had lost a total of 70 pounds in 9 months. After losing the weight, I had a tummy tuck skin removal surgery because the loose skin was really starting to impact my workouts. After having the tummy tuck, I went on to start training for a marathon and ended up losing an additional 16 pounds in the process. So my weight loss journey this time around has been approximately 90 pounds down. And the first key secret to losing weight as a woman over 40 is that nutrition has to be the focus. It is 80% of the equation. Now, I was really bad about nutrition in the past, and I would exercise every single day and didn't understand why I wasn't making any progress in my weight loss journey. And it was because I was not focused on the most important part, which is nutrition. Now, what I mean by focusing on nutrition is you have to take stock of what you're eating. And some people don't like to hear that, and they don't want to count calories or they don't want to count macros, but you have to know what it is you're putting in your body, and you have to track it meticulously. Now, one of the things that I like to do is I like to count macros versus calories. Because in prior weight loss journeys, I used to think that a calorie was a calorie and they were all treated the same in my body. So as long as I was in a calorie deficit, I could basically eat what I wanted. What I found out was that that is not true. Your body processes 100 calories of broccoli very differently than it processes 100 calories of ice cream. So I have learned to count macros instead and focus on moderate to high protein to be sure that I'm getting in the right kind of calories. And now that I'm counting macros and I'm focused on protein, I don't really have room in my diet for all of those empty calories that did nothing but cause me to gain weight. I was also very deliberate about cutting out processed sugar. I call it processed sugar. Some people call it refined sugar or added sugar, but you know what I'm talking about. The cakes, the candies, the pies, the ice cream, the cookies, the donuts, all of those things that we love to eat that are good to us but not good for us. And they're doing nothing but causing us to gain weight. All of the fat that I was holding around my midsection was nothing but sugar. When you talk about people that have beer bellies, the reason behind that is because beer and alcohol have sugar in them. It's the same concept. So yes, I had a beer belly and didn't drink alcohol, but it was because I was eating so much of this processed sugar. Once I eliminated the processed sugar from my diet and started to count the macros and was ensuring that I was eating the right types of food, that is when my body started to release the weight. And I really could see a difference in the fat being lost around my midsection. Another thing that I did was I hydrated. Now, I was not very good about drinking water prior to this weight loss journey. When I started 75 Hard, I was required to drink a gallon of water per day. It is excessive. I don't recommend you do that. But what it did was force me to drink water, which is what I needed. And so now I drink about 64 ounces of water per day. And then when I'm doing some really intensive workouts, I'm running long distances, I'm lifting weights, I'm drinking even more than that. But a minimum 64 ounces, and that is just simply the 8-ounce glasses of water we've been taught to drink as kids. Now, one of the little known secrets about people that are successful at losing weight and keeping it off is that they tend to eat the same things over and over again. And that's not to say that there's no variety in their diet, but they really do have go-tos and they tend to eat those things. And the reason for that is because they already know that it fits into their nutrition plan for the day. There's no thinking required. There's no counting required. There's no planning required. And I know this to be true because in prior weight loss journeys, one of the reasons why I kind of fell off my journey, especially when it came to nutrition, was because I was just trying to do too much. I wanted every meal to be different. I wanted it to be spicy and good. And I wanted to, hot meal, cooked meals, no leftovers, nothing cold, things like that. And I would just simply go off the rails because who has time for that? And with this weight loss journey, I really focused on some key meals, and I just tend to, that is my go-to. That is kind of what I eat on a day-to-day basis. I have some variety, I have some options, but not many of them. And I know that when I'm eating those foods, that they fit into my nutrition plan for the day, and I really don't have to think about it as much. When I start to overthink it and when I start to overplan it and I want to cook everything and eat everything fresh, and that is where I go off the rails. I actually had a meal plan that I was following a few years ago, and it was a meal plan that called for me to eat something different pretty much every single meal. And for the first week, I followed this meal plan and I lost 9 pounds that very first week. Now, you would think that this would be something, you lose 9 pounds the first week, you're like, oh, okay, let me keep this up. I couldn't keep up with it simply because who has the time to be sure that you're cooking something different or preparing something different for every single meal? So while the meal plan worked, it simply wasn't feasible for me to continue to follow it. So a lot of people that are successful in their journeys tend to have some key go-tos when it comes to what they're eating, and they just tend to stick to that. The second key secret to losing weight as a woman over 40 is to know that all movement is good movement. I am an avid runner. You do not have to be an avid runner in order to lose weight. I lost my first 30 pounds simply walking. I was required to walk twice per day for 45 minutes each. It equated to about 10,000 steps per day on average, and I started to lose weight simply with walking. Put on a good pair of walking shoes and hit the door. And walking is just as effective as any other cardio out there. I used to think that I really had to break a sweat and do HIIT workouts and do high impact workouts in order to lose weight, and I found out the secret. I do not. When I realized that I had walked off 30 pounds, I couldn't believe it. But all movement is good movement. It just simply takes moving your body in a caloric deficit and you will lose weight. Another thing that I learned is that you don't have to have access to a gym in order to lose weight. Now, I have a home gym, but a lot of the things that I do in my home gym, I can actually do without the gym. I walked off the first 30 pounds, and a lot of that walking I did outdoors because I had to do at least one outdoor workout every day. And so I did a lot of my walking simply just around my neighborhood. I do lift weights and I get a lot of compliments on my arms, but you would be surprised to learn that I tend to only lift dumbbells when I'm working out. Now, I have access to free weights. I have access to a Bowflex machine. I can lift pretty heavy if I wanted to, and yet and still I've been able to sculpt and tone my arms, which is what I get the most compliments on, with just 15 to 20 pound dumbbells. So you don't need access to a gym in order to get a great workout. You can do your cardio outdoors. You can do it in the house, following along to cardio videos. You can invest in a few sets of dumbbells and exercise bands and follow along to videos using those right in the comfort of your home. So there's no excuse. I've had someone actually comment to me before, well, you were able to lose weight because you have a home gym. Yes, it makes it convenient. I agree. But I still, again, could have done everything that I did without the gym part. I could have done it from my living room. I could have done it from my kitchen. All I needed was access to the weights and a good pair of walking shoes, and I still could have accomplished the same thing. So don't think you need access to a gym, because you do not. Now, I get a lot of questions in the comments about, well, what exactly did I eat? How did I kick the sugar? What were the specific workouts that I did in order to lose the 70 pounds in 9 months? And I get it. We are all busy. Who has time to count macros? Who has time to figure out exactly what to do for strength training and cardio in order to lose the weight? So I've come up with a way to share with you what I ate as well as the workouts that I did, and it is done for you. No thinking required, no counting required. It is done for you and customizable to your needs. If this sounds like something that would interest you, go to blastfatgetfit.com and you can learn more about it. The third and final key secret to losing weight as a woman over 40 is to know that mindset matters. One of the things that I did not do this time around on my weight loss journey is I did not wait to start. I made up my mind while I was sitting in that doctor's office being fussed at for not following the game plan, and I decided the next day I was committing to 75 hard no matter what. It was in the middle of the week. And a lot of times what we tend to do is we wait till Monday, right? Or we wait till vacation is over, or we wait till whatever we're waiting for. But this time around, there was no waiting. I took immediate action, massive, immediate action. That was how I was able to lose the 70 pounds in 9 months. Another thing that I did is once I took action, once I made up my mind that I was going to start in the middle of the week and not wait for Monday, I committed. I went all in. My only goal when I started 75 hard was to finish the challenge. That was it. I was so committed to that. I was so laser focused on that. And there was nothing that could happen in those 75 days that would knock me off of that goal. I don't care if I was at home, if I was at work, if I was traveling for work or pleasure or whatever we were doing. I was so laser focused on finishing those tasks because that was my only goal, was to finish this challenge. And if you know anything about 75 hard, if you mess up on the challenge, you have to start over again from day one. And so the goal is to complete the task every single day for 75 days. So every day is pretty much a day one, but you have to do 75 consecutive days in order to successfully complete the challenge. And so there was nothing that was, and it didn't matter. That's how committed that I was to it. And so you have to be committed. It has to be this mindset shift of not, well, something came up. No, nothing came up. You have to stay committed to whatever that goal is and do it no matter what, whatever it takes, no matter what, to reach that goal. Another thing that I learned on this journey is that it is okay to try something new. Conventional weight loss efforts had me starting out with a weight loss goal and weighing myself every single day, which was not good to my weight loss efforts because I tend to be an emotional eater. So if I lose 5 pounds in a week, I'm gonna celebrate by eating something I probably shouldn't eat. If I gain 5 pounds in a week, I'm probably going to eat something to drown out my sorrow, which is probably something I should not eat. And so being so connected, so focused to that number on the scale was really detrimental to my weight loss efforts. And so I know it goes against all conventional wisdom when it comes to losing weight, but I put away the scale. I didn't even weigh myself on day one of the 75 hard challenge. My starting weight of 218 pounds was the weight that I was the day before when I went to the doctor's office and they weighed me. But I didn't even weigh myself on day one because that is how committed I was to making a change and doing something different. And so mindset absolutely matters when you're starting a weight loss journey. You have to have your mind made up. You have to be laser focused and you have to say, you know what? I am going to get to the end no matter what. And then you have to focus, put your head down, be consistent, and do the work no matter what. And that is what is going to get you to your end result. It's just simply putting in the work day in and day out. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. And we already know what happens when we quit. And so we just need to find out now what will happen if we keep going. That should be your sole focus. All right, so I'm going to answer a question from one of our Get Fit community members. Lala Johnson 7475 asks, was it hard for you jogging in the beginning? Now this is a great question, Lala. Now, as you guys know, I'm an avid runner, and Lala actually posted this question on a video of me running. And the answer to the question is yes, it was kind of hard in the beginning, but what I decided to do was to only walk for the first 75 days of 75 hard. I lost the 30 pounds, and at that point I felt comfortable enough to start walk run intervals. And this is just simply where I walked a little and I jogged a little, and then I walked a little more and I jogged a little more. And every single time I did walk run intervals, my goal was to be a little bit faster than the time before. And this required me to either speed up or start running more. And over time, as you spend more time on your feet, you build up your endurance. And so while it's a little tough in the beginning, if you keep at it, just like anything, if you're consistent at it, over time you start to build up your endurance, and you notice that you're running a little more than you're walking, and then you can run a little further, and then you can run a little faster, and oh look, I just ran for 30 minutes straight. So it does require consistency, and you build your endurance over time. Thank you so much for that great question. If this video has been helpful to you, take a moment and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't joined the Get Fit community yet, take a moment, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you here as part of our community. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.